last day in the studio, we only had 1 hour left in the studio time. And we knew we had to set aside some kind of time for Zach Cox and the keyboards. You know, Zach, at the time, Zach wasn't even living in West Monroe. Zach was living in Little Rock.
The process was weird. We were fortunate we had Zach here early on quite a bit. He had done a lot of this with us, so I don't think really anything was truly finalized because we were all still in the writing process at that point.
And then whenever we got the rough mixes after the second day, he started practicing along to those tracks because that's what he was going to have to record to. Because we told him even then, we were like, dude, it's looking like you're probably only going to get 1 hour of tracking time, so we're going to need you to be practiced up, bud.
He sent us Facebook videos and such of him practicing along with the rough tracks that we sent, and he came down. We had, I think it was 2 hours for him to, or 1 hour was all we had for him.
He was up there bright and early with us, set up the keys in the main control room so everybody could hear everything, and he just knocked it out. Another hour out of there.
Yeah, it was pretty wild sounding and creative just like he is, so it was cool to have him involved too.
So what do you want to start with today?
Fourth Hokage versus the Nine-Tailed Fox.
All right, we got you.
That, and then I want to move straight on over to the Shinobi or Shinobi.
Shinobi.
Shinobi. Okay.
The Fourth Great Shinobi War.
Oh yeah, I was wondering what the G was about. Shinagi.
Shinagi.
The Shinagi War.
We spelled the best that we can.
He got in there and knocked most of it out. There were a few little missteps, and a few times he was trying really hard to get it perfect the way he was going when all he really had to do was stop and play another part, separate track. You know, joys of layering tracks.
But that's Zach. He's there.
Trust me, I understand.
Yeah.
I think Mitch does too.
Are we recording?
I always record.
Okay.
In case I catch genius.
All right. Cool.
So.
But yeah, it was a great experience. We actually asked him to do a little more than I think he was ready to do on a couple of the songs, so that didn't get added. He was completely unprepared for what we requested.
This was the most efficient album that I've ever made in my entire career. And I am so impressed and so pleased with the caliber and group of musicians that I had working on this album. Because they were true pros. I mean, they knew their stuff, and they just came in there, and they didn't play around, they didn't joke around, they just did it.
I've wanted for years to make an album this style. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of this style all the way back from the 90s. So, you know, it's just 20 plus years of me wanting to do this and finally getting to, from a musical standpoint. It's just awesome.
I'm really excited about it. I'm glad it's finally out there and available, and really excited to see other people's reaction to it and what other people really think about it.
I kind of realized listening to it, the story elements are great. It tells the story very well. Some of the lyrics are just absolute genius. I'm not going to say all of them are because, you know, I can't blow up Mitch's head too much. But from a musical standpoint, it was just an amazing thing to finally get to do one of these albums I have wanted to do for so many years. I think that this album has potential to reach out to a lot of people. I mean, you look at Comic-Cons, anime cons, you look, I have daughters in school. You go to their schools, you see people wearing Naruto stuff around. My daughter wears a ton of it at school. You see people walking down the hall when I go to like check one of them out wearing freaking Naruto headband and stuff. So there's a huge audience for this. And not just young children. There's a lot of people in their 30s, hell, probably into their 40s, 20s. This is what they grew up watching, or this is not necessarily grew up watching. This is something they got into and all that real heavily. And it's a story that gets you highly invested. So I think that it'll speak to all of those people and maybe even bring new people into hearing it just because the music's freaking awesome.
And I feel like what we wanted to accomplish came through in the recording. It's not the most standard or quality, polished performance, but it was never meant to be that way. It was meant to be a punk album that sounds like some kids in their garage just got done watching some anime and went outside and wrote some songs. Because at the end of the day, that's all that it was. That's what we did.